today's severe weather threat has fizzled out. I've got more on what to expect tonight and how local officials are getting ready for storm season.
A sheriff in Portage County pleads not guilty to 2 counts of rape, when it occurred and when he is set to appear in trial.
Akron mayoral candidates face off in their second debate, their discussions and what comes next in the mayoral race.
And a man who is accused of murdering his fiancée has a trial date set. All these stories and more as TV2 News starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Good Wednesday evening, Portage County. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Chris Abreu.
And I'm Kelsey Drennen. We start off tonight's show with team coverage on the severe weather today.
That's right, Kelsey. The National Weather Service predicts some rough weather for Northeast Ohio in the coming hours.
TV2's Jacob Brooks joins us now outside with more details on what we can expect.
Well, I've got some good news. There's really not much of a severe weather threat tonight anymore. The National Weather Service says this rain we've been getting this afternoon has basically sucked the energy out of the storms that were coming our way. So now there's really not much of a wind or hail threat. It's just going to be rain and a gust of wind here or there is what they said. But they said there is still a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock tonight for Northeast Ohio. Now, earlier today when the storms were coming, there was concern about tornadoes, especially after the tornadoes that we saw over the weekend in the Midwest. And here's what a National Weather Service meteorologist had to say about that.
For some of those strong tornadoes, like the EF3s and EF4s they had in Mississippi and Arkansas, that's going to be more confined to Northwest Ohio.
So as we head into spring storm season, even though today kind of fizzled out, it's still good to have some severe weather safety tips in mind. So when there's a tornado, the National Weather Service says to go to an interior room in your home with no windows, but the basement is best. And leading up to the storm, they said days ahead you should get your emergency supplies, adjust your plans, and make sure your phone gets emergency alerts. And Portage County's Emergency Management Agency says they are ready to go if severe weather strikes.
It's something that we prepare for, many years in advance. So we have the entire structure in the event that we do have something large, like a large tornado, something devastating. We have all the response plans, we have the coordination structures, everything in place so that we effectively respond to it.
Now, we did get a statement from First Energy this afternoon about the potential power outages. They said, quote, "We have been monitoring the incoming weather and have boosted staffing levels and additional resources on hand in the event we experience outages. Fortunately, the forecast appears to be a typical spring storm for us, and we don't anticipate widespread outages at this time. The storm's impact remains unclear until it hits our region, and we will be ready to respond if we do experience service disruptions." So that was a statement we got from First Energy this afternoon before the threat kind of diminished, and we have a much easier night ahead. So that's all we've got for now. I'm Jacob Brooks, TV2 News.
Thanks, Jacob, for that report.
Now continuing with our weather coverage, Aaron Houck joins us now. Hi, Aaron.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Houck. Today we saw severe thunderstorm watches in our area, and let's go ahead and take a look at what you can expect for the rest of your night. Currently in Kent, it is 72 degrees, feels like 72, definitely warming up a little bit as we head into the beginning of April and the start of spring. Our dew point this evening is at 61, winds are south at 10 miles per hour, humidity is at 74%, and visibility is at 9 miles. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast for tonight. Temperatures are going to drop just a little bit down to 64, winds will pick up just a little bit, southwest at 12 miles per hour, with a chance of some isolated thunderstorms developing overnight into tomorrow. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast for tomorrow. Right around 6 a.m. we'll be waking up with 48 degrees, a little bit more chilly than we've had today and yesterday. Our high will be right around 53 with cloudy skies persisting for majority of the day, and then the temperatures will slowly drop down to 45 right around 6 p.m. Coming up, we'll show you what other people are experiencing across the rest of the state along with your 7-day forecast.
Thanks, Aaron. USG's Flash Fest is happening tomorrow, and here's what you need to know before you go. The line starts at 2 p.m. There are no saving seats and no re-entry. Items that cannot be brought in are large bags, alcohol, animals with the exception of service animals, and weapons such as pepper spray. Lil Yachty is the main performer with special guests Cash Doll and DJ Smills, and TV2 is going live at the concert tomorrow, so make sure to tune in to the newscast tomorrow at 6.
And there's been no more important issue facing our community over the past several years than making sure that every person, but particularly our Black community, feels trust in the police, feels that the police are there to protect them.
A Portage County Sheriff deputy pleaded not guilty in his arraignment today in the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas. 34-year-old Will Cusick was indicted last month on 2 counts of rape. The crime documents say the incident occurred on October 19, 2022, and Cusick was placed on paid leave from the Portage County Police Department after the indictment was revealed. The judge set Cusick's bond at $20,000, and he's expected to appear in court for the pretrial on April 11th.
And a 78-year-old man from Stark County is now convicted of a 1970s murder this morning. Gustav Safaris was sentenced to life in prison after fatally stabbing 2 women, one from 1970 and one from 1975. His trial began on March 8th, and he was found guilty on March 16th of aggravated murder and maiming or disfiguring.
The mayoral candidates for Akron held a debate earlier today at noon at Quaker Station. The candidates answered questions about their past job experiences and how they have made the city a better place. There were discussions around the Jalen Walker police shooting, school safety, police reform, and public safety. Another debate is expected on April 12th at 7 p.m. in the Akron Summit County Public Library.
And a trial date is now set for a man accused of murdering his then fiancée in 2011. Karen Johnson has more on his appearance in court.
No handcuffs, no shackles, no orange jumpsuit. John Carter walked the hallways of the Butler County Courthouse today in street clothes, accompanied by his mother and attorney Lawrence Hawkins.
I understand that Mr. Carter has posted bond in this case.
Carter was released from the county jail after posting a $1 million surety bond yesterday. The 34-year-old is accused of murdering his fiancée, Caitlin Markham, in 2011. Her remains were found almost 2 years later in a remote wooded area in Indiana, about 30 miles from her Fairfield home. Carter has pleaded not guilty. During his arraignment last week, prosecutor Mike Moser said investigators found writings at Carter's mother's house. The writings were dark. They referenced loving someone and killing them and burying a body. They were not dated, but some of the writings had Carter's name on them. Today's hearing not as eventful. It was brief. After setting a trial date for June of 2024, Judge Dan Hoy reminded Carter of the rules he must follow while out on bond.
I understand that you have a medical marijuana card, but I do want to make clear to you that a condition of pretrial release and bond is that you have no drugs in your system, and that includes marijuana.
Carter must report to his pretrial officer and take random drug tests once a week.
But do understand that continued positive tests would result in a revocation of bond. Understood, Your Honor.
Carter also has to wear a GPS monitor and cannot leave the county unless approved by his pretrial officer.
Former President Donald Trump blames Democrats for his criminal charges. More on his remarks in Florida.
And Israeli police are under fire after storming a mosque early this morning. What police are saying on the officer's reasoning.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
Welcome back. Former President Donald Trump delivered his first remarks on his criminal charges in Manhattan, New York at his Mar-a-Lago resort Tuesday night.
He claims that this is the latest of the Democratic Party's schemes to stop him from becoming the president again.
Never thought it could happen. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it.
Trump was formally arraigned yesterday, making him the first former president of the United States to be charged with a crime. Trump pled not guilty at his arraignment to 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree.
Trump's indictment was brought up by a grand jury convened by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Bragg says Trump repeatedly and fraudulently falsified New York business records. Millions are under severe weather threats in the Midwest, including here in Northeast Ohio.
Our weather anchor Aaron can tell us more on what to expect in the coming days. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Chris. That's right. There have been so many severe weather threats in the Midwest and even here in Ohio. Let's take a look at some of the temperatures here in northeast portion of our state today. Up in Cleveland, we're at 70 degrees, 66 in Sandusky, 67 in Mansfield, 70 in Worcester, 73 in Canton, 72 in Kent, and 71 in Ashtabula, and 78 in Youngstown. As for the rest of our state, we have some beautiful temperatures as we're going into the spring weather. 61 in Lima, 63 in Dayton, 78 in Cincinnati, definitely warming up there in the southern portion of our state. 71 in Columbus, 85 in Athens. They are definitely on that track to those summer temperatures. 83 in Steubenville and 72 in Akron. As for our 7-day forecast, tomorrow, like I had mentioned earlier, we're going to have some cloudy skies, high of 53 and a low of 35. As for Friday, partly cloudy skies, high of 52, low of 31. And moving into our holiday weekend, Saturday we have some partly cloudy skies, high of 58 and a low of 35. And on Sunday, mostly sunny almost all day, which is a great sign if you're trying to get outside, with a high of 62 and a low of 38. Moving on to the beginning of next week, those temperatures are slowly going to start rising back up and stay there, which is what we're all waiting for. 67 on Monday with partly cloudy skies, along with 70 on Tuesday and a high of 76 on Wednesday. And that is all for your evening weather report. Stay up to date with current weather and news stories at KentWired.com. I'm Aaron Houck.
Thanks, Aaron. Volkswagen recalled 143,000 of their Atlas SUVs due to faulty passenger side airbags. The report Volkswagen filed with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says the sensors detecting the weight of the passenger are not working correctly. Usually those sensors prevent the airbag from deploying if a smaller person is seated there, since it can cause serious injury. Volkswagen advises not letting anyone drive shotgun until the problem is resolved.
Founder of Cash App Bob Lee was identified as a man who was stabbed to death on Tuesday morning. Officers responded to a report of a stabbing where they sent the victim to the hospital, where he later died from his injuries. The victim was not identified at the time, but early today, Mobile Coin confirmed Lee's death.
The U.S. Department of Justice announced a $144 million settlement for claims from the November 2017 mass shooting in a Sutherland, Texas church, according to a news release. A 2021 federal district court ruled that the U.S. government was liable for damages caused by the shooting, where 26 people died and 22 others were injured. The shooter was a former Air Force member named David Patrick Kelly, and it was found that the Air Force could have stopped him from buying the firearms, but they failed to submit certain documents beforehand. That was NATO Secretary Blinken at a conference calling on Russia to release Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich. Gershkovich's lawyers visited him for the first time yesterday, a week after Russian authorities arrested him on spy allegations. The Wall Street Journal denies the allegations.
This comes after Finland officially joined NATO yesterday. Finland accelerated the process of joining NATO following Russia's initial invasion of Ukraine. Finland shares an over 800-mile border with Russia, meaning NATO has now more than doubled the security they can place along Russia's borders. And Israeli police stormed the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem during Ramadan prayers this morning. Hundreds of Palestinians were arrested, and social media shows Israeli officers hitting screaming people with batons inside the building. The police said in a statement that their officers entered after hundreds of rioters and mosque desecrators had barricaded themselves inside. And Tiger Woods is looking to drive right into the 25th Masters tournament, but many are concerned for his health. What the pro golfer had to say about this.
Grab your calendars and check those dates. Find out what Kent State coach is doing and sticking around in 2029.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
The 25th Masters Tournament is happening this Thursday in Augusta, Georgia.
Many are expecting to see Tiger Woods back in action, but they are concerned over the injuries he's received after his car accident 2 years ago.
It's different now. I'll be able to spend more time with my son, and we'll be able to create our own little memories out there and to share some of the things that my dad has, what I experienced with my dad.
Despite previous injuries, the famous golf player said that his game is better than ever. He said his endurance is better, but he does ache more because of how much he pushes himself.
Woods said he knows he doesn't have much time left to compete, so he's glad to appreciate the time and memories.
Now, in sticking with sports, we have updates on Kent State athletics as well.
That's right. Our sports reporter has all the updates on Kent's transition to spring sports. Hi, Della.
That's right, guys. As we know, March Madness just ended, but the Flashes made a big move to keep Kent in the tourney for years to come. In fact, the Kent State basketball extended their head coach, Rob Senderoff, through the 2028-2029 season. This deal adds 3 more years to his original extension contract that he signed in 2021. Sendy, as the players call him, is the most winning coach in program history with 247 wins and many more to come in efforts to return the Flashes to March Madness next year. And in some other Kent State basketball news, Malik Jacobs announced on his social media earlier today that he will continue his basketball career to enter into the NBA draft. The MAC champion and MAC Defensive Player of the Year will enter alongside his teammates Sincere Carey and Myra Thomas for a shot to play in the big leagues. Speaking of the big leagues, we will now take it to the Diamond. Kent State baseball, they were edged in a 7-6 back and forth game visiting Columbus last night. The game was scoreless for the first 3 innings. Then, in the bottom of the 4th, Ohio State put up 2 runs. But Kent was ready to answer the call in the top of the 5th with 2 of their own. Both teams scored 3 runs in the 6th inning, but an extra run in the bottom of the 7th, followed by some great OSU pitching, shut the Flashes down. They will look to bounce back on the road against Bowling Green on Friday. And we will take it now to the professional Diamond. Roll it. Oakland A's in the other land facing off the rookie Ruiz at the end of the order keeps it in fair and square. Sending Noda home. Everybody is going to end up safe. The A's take it 1-0 first. Fast forward now, 4th inning. Guards down by 1, but not for long. I guess it's rookie night because Gabriel Arias sends this one out. We are going to be tied 2-2. And prepare your singing voices. I will do mine. Jose, 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 Jose. Now, this right here is a good example of why you have to be careful on defense, especially between the in and outfield. Thank goodness everybody's okay, but what would have been a simple pop out by Jose has sent Straw home for a guard's lead. And the Beebs still in for the 6th, but a wild pitch gets away from the catcher, and Tony Kemp's got wheels. He can make it home. We are tied again, 3-3. And speaking of home, there's no place like it. T. Hustle, as his former team called him, sends it home, and goodness, it doesn't get much better than this. Walk-off, bottom of the 9th, never count out the white elephant. The A's take it 4-3. And that's all I've got for sports today. For TV2 Sports, I'm Della Fowler, and I'll catch you on the court, Portage County.
Thanks, Della. Stick around because we have some important Hollywood updates, particularly for anyone who likes a certain crime-fighting web-slinger. Welcome back. Tonight marks the beginning of the Jewish holiday of Passover. The holiday is celebrated at sundown this evening until April 13th with special traditional meals with religious significance. Passover is meant to symbolize and celebrate the Israelites' exodus from slavery in Egypt in 1200 BC, a story that is told in the Old Testament of the Bible.
And today in the Showbiz Spotlight, everyone's favorite web slinger and a celebrity cannabis farmer. Here's CNN's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
Send me home. I can't do that.
I can do both! Spider-Man, always.
Not always.
What about Uncle Ben?
If not for Uncle Ben, most of us wouldn't be here.
Can't stop me now!
Here's the latest look at Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The follow-up to the Oscar-winning Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse swings into theaters June 2nd.
7 years ago, I had a dream. I had all this land and thought, why not grow cannabis?
Jim Belushi has gone from Chicago actor to Oregon pot farmer in the reality series Growing Belushi. The first 2 seasons brought both lows and highs, so to speak, but nothing to prepare him or viewers for season 3.
The first episode is harrowing. My barn burned down last year with $500,000 worth of cannabis, a $400,000 barn. And I think it's organized crime that did it because the black market in Oregon and Northern California is notorious for intimidation.
Season 3 of Growing Belushi debuts today on Discovery Plus. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Anyone else craving some Mexican food? Well, thank goodness tomorrow's National Burrito Day. Many restaurants across the country celebrate the made-up holiday with different deals.
That's right, Chris. Those restaurants include Chipotle, which is offering their deals a day early. The chain restaurant is offering 20,000 free burritos on the food ordering app Grubhub. Anyone who orders over $20 of food from Chipotle on the app will automatically be offered a free burrito.
I missed my chance to get a free burrito, is what I'm hearing.
No, yeah, that's what we missed. It. We fumbled the bag.
We really did fumble the bag. I had Chipotle like 2 days ago though, so I don't know.
I did too. I had it on Monday.
Same.
Oh, great minds think alike. But we're big Mexican food fans, I gotta say.
No, yeah, every week we go to a Mexican restaurant together on Friday. Just because. It's every single week.
We just love chips and salsa, and we love ourselves some burritos.
I feel like everyone's got their like college like not fast food, like Mexican restaurant that they go to on a regular basis.
You know what?
Their college town location.
You're onto something. You're really onto something. But kind of moving over to Hollywood, are you excited for the new movie?
I am. I saw Into the Spider-Verse like the first one, and it was really, really good.
I watched it, but I need to watch it again. I don't remember fully what happened.
I also need to, because it's been a while. But that is all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us.
For updates on all these stories and more, visit our website at KentWired.com and follow us on all of our social media at KentWired. I'm Kelsey Drennen.
And I'm Chris Abreu. Have a great night, Portage County.
This is Portage County's TV2, broadcasting from the campus of Kent State University, streaming online at KentWired.com.